Hey folks, welcome back. Okay, so I'm doing this video. It's going to be a fairly short video, just kind of an informational thing for you guys. You guys know that we've been using this Marsh ink now for years and years and years, and we've been purporting and talking about ink as compared to paint. And it's been, years that we've used this stuff. It works really, really well. The issue with the ink is that sometimes it's kind of hard to find, and the cost. You can't find it locally. You got to get it shipped in. But it works really well. I'm still a big proponent of ink. However, I've been getting through the Facebook groups and through personal messages, talking to people on the phone. A lot of you guys already know this, that there are some guys that have started to use paint and are big supporters of using paint instead of the ink. We've never done that. We've been using ink for years and years, decades really. But it had been years since we even tried paint, because paint has like I've mentioned in many, many videos, so you can go back and watch all the videos that has anything to do with ink or paint in the titles. I don't even know what the numbers are, but there's a bunch of them. Anyway, the reason that we don't use paint is, number one, that it bleeds into the board. Whether it's cedar, whether it's pine, whatever we've ever used, it's bled into the grain of the board and you can't sand it out. That's number one. Number two is, even when you do sand it off the surface after you spray, it gums up the belts. So then you go through a lot of belts. Well, again, we've been getting feedback, and people that I've talked to have said that they've used this certain kind of paint and they didn't have those issues. Well, I've been kind of procrastinating and holding off even trying it because I've been disappointed with paint so many times. However, I finally broke down and listened to enough of you guys, realized that we can still learn. We're all in this together. We're still learning. So it had been so many years, my hunch is that it had been so many years since we even tried to paint that the formulations have changed. So this is what I went and got. Rust-Oleum. Well, you can probably see it. Can you see that good enough, Dad?
Yeah, I can zoom in on it.
Well, I don't know. It probably shows up pretty well right there.
It shows up pretty good right there.
So I tried this paint. Now, I can't say that I'm used to this kind of a nozzle, but because it comes out really fast as compared to this nozzle. So it's going to take some getting used to. However, I tried this paint. It dries fast. It doesn't bleed into the board, and it sands off just as good as the ink does. And in some cases, it's about half the price of the ink, depending on where you buy the ink. Sometimes I can get the ink for about $5 a can, but then sometimes shipping gets in there, but I generally got to buy it a case at a time, like you guys know if you've seen the other videos. This stuff they got at Walmart for less than $4 a can, at one can at a time. So what I'm saying now, and again, I guess eating crow or whatever, but we're constantly in a learning phase. This stuff works. So to give you some examples, here's some signs, some just little, samples that I carved with it. And this is pine right here, as you can see there. This is pine. It's sprayed on real well. Now, I will say that you got to be really, really careful, because if you spray this and you don't keep it moving, because it comes out so fast with this kind of nozzle, you got to be really careful when you're spraying on there. Really give it light coats. And don't, again, like we've mentioned on many of the other videos, don't spray it heavy. You got to keep it going. Got to keep it moving, because it comes out a lot faster. But if you have a good touch with it, it will work just as good as the ink does. So all of this stuff was done with the paint. This is all paint on pine, and here's the cedar. And it worked fine. I didn't bleed into the board. When I first tried it, I sprayed it kind of heavy, and it did bleed some. But I think the ink would have done that too, to be honest with you. So again, light coats. Don't spray it too heavy. But now you can, I am suggesting, if you don't have ink, get some of this Rust-Oleum. primer, and it works really, really well. So works for, and all of the layout I did with this as well. I did the layout and I did the background, the inset letters, all done with the paint, and it works really, really well.
Hold that reel still and let me really zoom in on it so they can get a really close look at it.
I probably should hold it down so my face
that's
isn't
fine.
right behind
Just
it.
like that. I'm just taking a real good picture of it so when they go to their supplier they can see what it is. Okay.
It should be right on the shelf in all the Walmarts. So it's a very popular paint, but it works really well, guys. Now the other thing, and I think I saw somebody mention this on Facebook. When you spray the crystal clear acrylic spray over this, it will take that black. You'll get it on your fingers if you're not careful, but it would do that with the ink as well. So nothing's changed there. So
Be sure and let it dry before you handle it.
yeah, you got to make sure it dries before you start carving on your layout, and you got to make sure it dries well before you start sanding. But you know, I probably let it set 5 minutes, and it was all good to carve and to sand. But it's pretty nice weather out here in Arizona, so you have to take into account where you're at, whether it's summertime, wintertime. So I'm going to start using this stuff more and more. If I find some issues with it, I'll let you know. But for now, I'm going to start using this stuff. I've still got plenty of ink, but I'm going to start using this stuff and get used to using it, get used to this nozzle. So that's all I wanted to share, guys. I thought it would be worth your interest, worth your while to know that now we are recommending this paint just as well as the ink, and in some cases maybe it's going to be half the price as the ink, depending on where you buy it from. So I guess that's about it. Go check out our new website. We've got all kinds of stuff on there. The premium membership is going really well. We're getting very, very good response. Go check it out on makerwoodsign.com, and there's a video on there you guys can watch. If you have any questions on it, don't hesitate. Just give us a call. Real simple stuff. So anything else I'm forgetting, Dan?
That's it.
Okay, guys, we'll see you next week. Have a great one.